Greetings to all. You have arrived at Reporting from USA YouTube channel. Our team preparing a video with latest update from Trump. A screaming match broke out in the courtroom during Donald Trump's $250 million civil fraud lawsuit, and we're going to go into that moment today. Now we can dive headfirst into the specifics. Tensions rose during Friday's hearings as New York State Attorney Kevin Wallace clashed with Trump's legal team. Reports indicate that Wallace yelled out, "The court has found that Mr. Trump committed fraud to get into the private wealth group." An expert defense witness testifying on Trump's ties to Deutsche Bank was being cross-examined when Wallace exploded, leading to a confrontation with Trump's lawyer, Chris Keyes. According to Keyes, Trump's advantageous loan conditions were due to the fact that he was a client of the bank's private wealth management, making him a high-value customer. Judge Arthur Ingeron removed Robert Unel as a witness in response to Keyes' arguments so that the attorneys could deal with their concerns head-on. Keyes argued that Trump enjoyed a special status similar to that of a rarefied bird, while he was a client of the private bank. Reacting to this, Wallace alleged that Trump had obtained this special status through deceit, citing a prior decision by N. Goran. His admission in a pretrial summary judgment that he had lied to a private wealth organization in order to secure these loans is significant. So we are trying to figure out what the interest rate would have been if he hadn't been able to deceive that group. In his defense of Wallace's stance, N. Goran stated, "I believe his explanation is correct," thereby dismissing Keyes' issue. In a notable but narrow decision, an appeals court denied Trump's request for immunity from claims related to the assault on the Capitol, citing his position as president during that time. Although the judges did not rule in favor of Trump's immunity claim at this time, they did note that he may try again later in the case. In his comments on the verdict, National Security lawyer Bradley Moss emphasized that the facts as they are show that Trump was not in his official role, but rather campaigning. This difference is vital. Although this is a major turn of events, Moss pointed out that Trump may still have a chance to win based on the merits, just not right now. Trump erred in asserting he was entitled to protection whenever he talked on an issue of public interest, according to legal expert Harry Littman, who pointed out that Trump presented an overly broad argument concerning immunity. In Littman's view, the rule of law and accountability have finally arrived. An official act is not always required for a first-term president to seek re-election, according to the appeals court. According to Andrew Weissman, a former federal prosecutor, the opinion is a death note for Trump's assertion of presidential immunity in the Name 6 criminal case because of how strongly it is worded. Legal experts have stated that letting the civil case proceed should not affect the schedule of the criminal trials, alluding to concerns about possible delays in Trump's criminal prosecutions. The former acting Solicitor General, Neil Katyal, has pointed out that Trump's assertion of absolute immunity in criminal proceedings is already widely believed to be false. Joyce Vance, a former U.S. attorney, chimed in to say that the same line of reasoning that would disprove President Trump's immunity should hold water in a criminal trial as well. Attorneys for Donald Trump made an unexpected assertion during the pretrial hearing in his election racketeering case in Georgia, asserting that the accusations against the phony presidential electors amounted to a violation of free speech. Political scientist and law professor Anthony Michael Kreese of Georgia State University couldn't contain his annoyance as he saw things unfold. "The American history that we are hearing is not good. The situation is deteriorating," Kreese exclaimed. A central tenet of the defense's case was that the United States Constitution forbade prosecution on all counts because they were to free speech. Kreese, on the other hand, noted that the indictment filed by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis contained charges of election fraud that outside the bounds of protected political speech, including but not limited to ballot stuffing and voter intimidation. Not all speech is protected by the First Amendment, particularly when it pertains to fraudulent acts. Crease brought attention to the fact that the defense was confusing incorrect speech with speech associated with fraud. In court, Trump lawyer Steve Sadow reaffirmed the constitutionality of the First Amendment by arguing that the measure infringes upon the right to free expression guaranteed by the document. In light of Trump's possible candidacy, Sadow argued that setting the trial for August would constitute electoral interference. The assertion was quickly refuted by Nathan Wade, a lawyer with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Wade argued that the trial was not an attempt to influence with the election, but rather an ordinary aspect of Fulton County's operations. The defense was also asked how the trial would be affected if Trump were to win the president again. According to Sadow, the trial might be postponed until Trump's departure from the White House if he were to win, using the Supremacy Clause. President Trump's early efforts to dismiss the federal indictment against him were rejected by U.S. District Judge Tanya Chipkin on Friday. Using a defense based on a type of presidential immunity, Trump said he was immune from prosecution for acts done after the 2020 election while he was in office. According to Judge Chutkin, Trump's 4 years as commander-in-chief did not give him a ticket to avoid incarceration forever. Therefore, the claim is dismissed. The judge made it clear that the ex-president is subject to the same criminal accountability standards as any other citizen. Furthermore, Trump's requests to dismiss the case due to its unconstitutionality were denied by Chutkin. The legal team representing Trump is expected to file an appeal of this ruling in no time. They have made it clear that they will fight any ruling on the immunity issue and may try to get the criminal prosecution halted until this is resolved, which may take the case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The former president's intention to dispute the judge's judgment was expressed in a statement made by Trump's spokesperson, Stephen Chung. Chung stated that the radical Democrats' goal to meddle in the 2024 presidential race was to weaken constitutional values and establish harmful precedents. It should be noted that on March 4th, a trial is set to commence in the federal election obstruction case against Trump. Trump's legal team has been unsuccessful in its attempts to extend the lawsuit timeframe, arguing that it should be postponed until after the 2024 general election in November. This judge's decision follows the U.S. Court of Appeals for the DCC Kirkland's rejection of Trump's presidential immunity defense in a civil suit arising out of the violent incident at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. At this point in the proceedings, the D.C. Circuit Panel ruled that Trump did not have immunity. Democratic lawmakers and law enforcement officials sued Trump in civil court, claiming that his actions were partisan campaigning and not related to his official presidential responsibilities. It has been previously decided by the U.S. Supreme Court that presidents are immune from lawsuits arising from official activities. By focusing on particular civil claims, the court made it clear that it was not answering the question of whether or not the president is immune from criminal prosecution. In any case, the verdict does give the defense some pointers on how to refute Trump's immunity claims in the event that he chooses to appeal. The court indicated that Trump might bring up the civil immunity issue again in the future if he could prove that he was performing presidential duties. The court made it clear that it was not making a decision regarding criminal immunity just yet. The judge stated in a 48-page opinion that the U.S. Constitution does not indefinitely protect former presidents from investigation, indictment, prosecution, conviction, and punishment for any criminal acts committed while in office. The judge had previously denied Trump's assertion of absolute immunity from prosecution. The position does not grant a lifetime exemption from prosecution, as the framers of the United States Constitution intended, and the chief executive officer is to be apart from unaccountable rulers. The judge also rejected Trump's legal team's claims that the president could not be held criminally liable until a conviction in a Senate impeachment hearing, or that the prospect of further prosecution could impact the president's ability to carry out his duties. The lawsuits charging Trump of encouraging the violent events that transpired on January 6, 2021, against him can proceed forward. according to a federal appeals court, which rejected Trump's request to dismiss the claims. The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals in the United States has rejected Trump's extensive assertions of presidential immunity, finding that his immunity does not absolve him of responsibility in the cases initiated by Democratic legislators and law enforcement officials. In the ongoing legal fights over the Capitol riot, this ruling is a major step forward. But the three-judge panel made it clear that Trump can keep defending himself as long as the proceedings are underway. They conceded that he has the right to continue fighting the particular accusations by claiming that he acted in his official role as president. Trump has maintained his position that he is immune from any action related to the Capitol violence since his remarks at a rally prior to the Capitol's storming dealt with topics of public interest. A separate criminal case initiated by special counsel Jack Smith involves Trump, and his legal team is also arguing that he is exempt from prosecution. This decision comes at a crucial time. In this matter, it is alleged that Trump engaged in unlawful conspiracy to reverse his defeat at the hands of President Joe Biden. The Capitol riot lawsuits are far from over, and their results might have far-reaching consequences for Trump and our very concept of presidential immunity. At trial, Smith's attorneys plan to claim that Trump is legally responsible for the violence that occurred at the Capitol, evidence that Trump meant for the mayhem that transpired. That day would be his continuous backing for the rioters throughout his campaign rallies, they said. The difficulties Trump is facing in trying to persuade courts and maybe juries that his conduct leading up to the violence was in the course of his official responsibilities as president are highlighted by this latest verdict. In a verdict that was released on Friday night, Tanya Chetka, the presiding judge in his criminal prosecution for electoral subversion, likewise rejected this assertion. The court made it clear that presidents do not have blanket immunity for all of their official conduct, even though this is usually the case. The court emphasized that a president seeking re-election is not carrying out official responsibilities when involved in actions pertaining to his campaign. This decision made it clear that these are the behaviors of someone seeking office, not someone currently holding that position. As a result of the court's decision, Trump can keep bringing challenges to the validity of presidential immunity. The verdict does not decide whether Trump should be held liable in court or whether he is responsible for the disturbance, it said. Trump still has time to make his case on the immunity matter, since the court recognized that he can still claim his acts were protected by the First Amendment or other privileges. Despite this setback, Trump still has options to litigate the matter further. He has the option of appealing to the U.S. Supreme Court or requesting a review by the whole appeals court. Although the campaign spokeswoman described the decision as limited, narrow, and procedural, neither she nor Trump's counsel had offered immediate remarks on the decision. Tell me what you think about the most recent twist in Donald Trump's legal troubles. Post your thoughts and feelings in the space provided. Much obliged for your time. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Feel free to view some of our other videos as well. Looking forward to seeing you in the after video post.